encourage and help Palestinians to leave the Gaza Strip. This comes after President Donald Trump floated a controversial plan this week calling for all of Gaza's 2 million people, 2 million Palestinians to be removed. He says the U.S. would then move into the territory, oversee it, and oversee a lengthy reconstruction process. Now, this plan has come under fierce international condemnations. Many critics say it amounts to ethnic cleansing.
The statements by President Trump saying that the U.S. would take over Gaza and that it would require that the Palestinian population be moved out signal an intent to potentially ethnically cleanse Gaza and further forcibly displace the local population, the Palestinian population of Gaza. We don't know if these will turn into actual policy, but the statement of intent is very concerning. And if it were to transform into state policy, it would potentially amount to ethnic cleansing.
Look how rubbish it is over there. You see how them people are surviving? They survive.
The president appears to be sticking
in the
with
middle
proposal,
of the rubble.
Although some officials in the White House say he only wants to see a temporary displacement of Palestinians. In the meantime, Israeli leaders have welcomed the proposal, and Israel's defense minister says he has ordered the military to begin preparations for assisting Palestinians who want to leave. It's not clear how this plan would work or when it would go into effect, but it is causing alarm across the region. Some of the harshest criticism is coming from the Arab world, and especially from Egypt, an Israeli ally that borders Gaza. Egyptian officials say they already have launched a diplomatic initiative. They're trying to rally opposition to the plan behind the scenes. They are warning that Egypt's historic peace agreement with Israel, 45 years old, could be in danger if this plan moves forward.
It's the rose citrus season, one of my favorite fruits.
So Egypt says that it would take its hands off of Israel if...
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has threatened to renew Israel's attacks on the Gaza Strip, saying the Israeli military will return to, quote, intense fighting unless Hamas agrees to release all remaining hostages by Saturday noon. This comes after President Trump said all hell is going to break out if the hostages aren't freed. Hamas has accused Israel of repeatedly violating the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Trump on Tuesday met with Jordan's King Abdullah at the White House, where Trump repeated his threat to take over Gaza and displace the entire Palestinian population. Reporters questioned Trump about his Gaza proposal.
Did y'all see how King Abdullah... Look how he be blinking his eye.
That the U.S. would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
Can anybody tell me, if there's nothing to buy, how are we going to own Gaza? Who giving us Gaza? We just going to take it? We just going to take this land? And now, because Israel have the Iron Dome, they have just enough defense to protect them while they build a big old military fort. They finna be pointing guns at everybody in the Middle East. Big old, hey, listen. You gonna do what we want you to do at gunpoint, nigga. We taking your oil. You finna drop the prices of, they finna at gunpoint. They finna control all those people. The military finna build a U.S. military defense system over there so goddamn cold that it's gonna put fear in everybody in the Middle East, even Europe, even, I'm talking about even Britain. All of them gonna be scared of America after we get through building what we gonna build over there in Gaza. Watch. We're gonna keep talking about this.
There's no reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're gonna take it.
It's a war-torn area. We're gonna take it, and that's that. American style.
We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it
But you take it under what authority? It is sovereignty.
under the U.S. authority.
Under the U.S. authority.
That was President Trump sitting next to
Under
a
the U.S.
grimacing
authority.
King Abdullah of
Right in front of the
Jordan,
King
who
of
later
Jordan.
wrote that they will not accept the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, and the president.
Now, King Abdullah went back and later wrote that he would not accept the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, but he accepted it in front of Donald Trump. We're going to take 2,000 of those kids if they got cancer or if they really sick. But other than that, how many? It ain't even 2,000 kids in Gaza that got cancer.
Of Egypt, President Sisi, canceled his trip to the White House next week.
Oh shit. Egypt said they ain't gonna even show up. Egypt canceled his trip. Oh my God. Shit's gonna get. Watch what Trump do with Egypt. I bet you he come. What you want to bet he come to America? Now, if he don't come, you know who else gonna come? The Indian president gonna come from India. Watch. We watch. We finna see.
For these comments, we're joined now by Tariq Ali, Pakistani British historian.
Oh, we gonna what
Who
happened?
later wrote that they will not accept
No,
the
we're
ethnic.
gonna go back. We're gonna go back a little bit further.
It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it
But you take it under what authority? It is sovereignty.
Look at
under
it,
the
look at it.
U.S. authority.
That was President Trump sitting next
He
to
ain't say
a
shit.
grimacing King Abdullah of Jordan, who later wrote that they will not accept the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, and the president of Egypt, President Sisi, canceled his trip to the White House next week after these comments. We're joined now by Tariq Ali, Pakistani British historian, activist, filmmaker, editor of the New Left Review, author of over 50 books, including just out, You Can't Please All, Memoirs 1980 to 2024. Welcome back to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us on this side of the pond, but I do have to ask you, Mick Jagger wrote that Rolling Stones song for you, Street Fighting Man?
Yeah, he wrote it and
Street
sent it
Fighting
to
Man
me,
was
a
wrote him.
handwritten version, saying, could you put this in the paper? I just wrote this for you. I edited a radical newspaper at the time, and the BBC are refusing to play this song. So we did publish the song, and of course, a few weeks later, the BBC did play it. I mean, that was a time when politics and culture, radical politics, radical culture were very mixed up together in a good sense.
So let's go back to
How
Gaza.
was it mixed up
You
in a
have
good
President Trump doubling, tripling, quadrupling down, saying he doesn't even have to buy Gaza. He'll have it. He'll take it. He's also said, originally said the world's people will be there, yes, including Palestinians. Now, no, Palestinians have no right of return. Your response to what's going on there?
It is so appalling, Amy, what is going on now. Trump says it in public, what his predecessors used to say in private, that effectively they're going to let Israel have its way, both in Gaza and, believe you me, in the West Bank. They will both be ethnically cleansed. That has been Israeli policy for decades, and now they feel they've had leaders in the United States. Trump is, of course, shameless and open about it. Biden did exactly the same thing. For 6 months, Hamas had agreed to the ceasefire plan. Netanyahu didn't want a ceasefire, and Biden backed him. So one problem we have today, that the reason you have Trump is because the previous administration was so weak-willed and so weak-minded and incapable of doing anything, whereas in this very country we had Reagan, Bush, Truman calling Israel to heel when they exceeded what was considered to be decent, honorable, according to the United States policies. When they refused to obey, they were called to heel. Neither Biden and now Trump calling these people enough. The whole world is seeing what you're up to. Enough. We will not tolerate it. Netanyahu threatening to break the ceasefire, and the response of the United States president is what? The response is, nothing to do with the ceasefire, but we're going to take Gaza. We can. The Israelis have got it for you by killing over 100,000 people, and now we'll do with it as we please. I mean, if this is the way the United States empire is going to carry on functioning, there will be more and more, not immediately, there will be more and more resistance. If even the King of Jordan and Sisi in Egypt, who have so far backed the United States, are getting slightly scared, it's not because they've changed greatly, it's they're scared there will be an uprising in their countries.
Yep.
Jordan is 3/4 Palestinian anyway, and the Egyptian masses are seething. So we have a really extremely serious situation building up in the Middle East, where they publicly, in front of everyone...
If Jordan accept the Palestinians, all hell gonna break loose. If Egypt accept the Palestinians, all the Egyptians, all hell finna break loose. And both of those presidents don't want an uproar in they. So what they saying is, if Jordan, already 3/4 of the population is Palestinian, so if they accept the rest of those Palestinians, that's going to give them almost a 100% population growth, and they can overturn the Jordan. They can overturn that. They don't want that many Palestinians. You know what they trying to do? You know, now Jordan finna bag all the way up. Now, fucking, what's the name? Even Egypt, they gonna pull back from their agreement. Now they finna let all these Muslims attack, come through. They gonna come through Egypt. They gonna come through Jordan. All them Palestine. Man, Israel got a big war. They finna fight. They finna have to fight a big war. And I ain't talking about with the drones and all that shit. Man, these people is coming to fight to the finish like the Persians. They coming 300,000 strong with nothing but manpower, and eventually they gonna breach Israel's security, and it's over with. If only 50,000 make it across the line, it's over with. Like, them people gonna slaughter those people over there, and it's gonna be an all-out bloodbath. All-out bloodbath. And there ain't nothing they can do about it. Do you see the future of what's finna happen in the Middle East? It's finna be an all-out bloodbath in the Middle East. All right. I just came on, went live. Y'all see that it's a lot of stuff going on.
To expel the Palestinians. No cover-up. Netanyahu says we're going to do it. The U.S. president supports him.
And Tarek, the famous Palestinian-American intellectual Edward Said was a friend of yours. You write about him in your memoir. Said was prophetic in many ways in terms of his skepticism of the possibility of a two-state solution. What are your sense of how he would have responded to what's happening today?
Well, yeah, Edward was a very dear friend. We often discussed Palestine. And he felt, as did many others, that the only serious solution for that region was a one-state solution with equal rights for all its citizens, male, female, Jews, non-Jews, etc. That was the only way we could proceed, because a two-state solution had become a joke. I mean, if you look what's been happening in Gaza for a year, an open genocide. If you see what they're starting to do to the West Bank now, a two-state solution is impossible. No one will believe in it. But a single-state solution has also now become very difficult, in my opinion. It's the worst situation to confront the Palestinians. I mean, 70%, between 60 and 70% of the Israeli population back Netanyahu. You have large numbers of Zionist citizens of Israel coming out and chanting once again, "Kill the Arabs," just like many German fascists shouted, "Kill the Jews." What is going on? And the US, in my opinion, is completely abdicated its role to be an arbiter. It never was an arbiter, but now that's just become a complete joke. So the situation seems grim to me, and whether it can be resolved simply within the area currently Israel-Palestine, or whether it will have to expand and extend to the rest of the Arab world before people see sense as an open question.
And I'm wondering, as you mentioned the situation in Israel, clearly we just had a segment talking about authoritarianism in Europe as well, the rise of fascist and right-wing movements, and especially anti-immigrant movements throughout Europe. What is your sense of the role or the problems in terms that the left has had in confronting these movements?
The real problem, Juan, is this, that all political parties, prior to the rise of these extreme right parties that the professor was talking about, prior to that, we had a center-left and a center-right. Both of them supported the economic system we call neoliberalism, a very extreme, rampant type of turbocharged capital, which wrecked the social structure of many of these countries, privatized large industries, entered into the domains of health and most
push that like button. Show me some love. Where my people at? I came back and y'all ain't here. Where Miss Sapphire? Sapphire, you not here?
Of the center left and center right, whenever they came to power, did exactly the same thing. I wrote a book called The Extreme Center.
Ain't nobody. Ooh, I can smell that gumbo cooking, baby. Smell that gumbo cooking. Ooh. Smell that gumbo cooking, baby. Smell that gumbo cooking. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's it. Alright. It is done. What y'all think about that? Y'all think that's done? I think it's done. If I don't cut it off, let it marinate for like 20 minutes. Let it cool off for like 20 minutes. And we'll come back and eat some. How about that? Y'all gonna be ready? It's gonna be good. Push that like button. Ain't only one person push that like button. Look at this gumbo. Look at this gumbo right here. Oh my God, look at this gumbo. We got potatoes, bell peppers, onions. Oh my God, sausages, crabs, shrimp. Oh my God. Celery, okra. Push that like button. Don't nobody like my dinner. I did all this cooking. And don't nobody like my dinner. Okay. Push that like button. Don't nobody want to like the button? Don't nobody want to like it? Don't nobody want to like it? You telling me you don't want to like this? Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Hungry, hungry hippo. Um. Trump. Yeah. Man, that damn gumbo smells so good. It is marinating right now. You can smell that gumbo. It smells so good. All right, I want to talk about something. Tonight I got a sponsor, and I need y'all to wake up, smell the coffee. Tonight I am sponsored by Vital Surge Gummies Max. If you know anything about Vital Surge, if you need some vitals in your life, Vital Surge is a new, what you call it, a vitamin supplement for men. This is for men. I really want y'all to understand that this is for grown-ass men. If you ain't a grown-ass man, and then you won't understand what Vital Surge is for you. But if it's for you, a Vital Surge is the best thing that you can take as a man. These right here, they make you stronger, they make you last longer, and they make you bigger. So if you believe, you will achieve with Vital Surge. And all your women will love you. They'll be like, something about him. I just can't. They won't be able to take their mind off of you if you take these. See, I don't want to. I hate to give out my secret ingredients on good loving. The reason why I'm so good to a lot of the women that love me, you know. But if you want to be better, you want to be bigger, you want to last longer, you want to be stronger, you'll try Vital Surge. Okay, and that's my sponsor for tonight. And it's recommended that you take 2 tablets or 2 gummies, drink 1 glass of 20-ounce water, and a bowl of fruit. Wait 30 minutes and tear their ass up. How you doing? Push that like button. Vital Surge. I got Vital Surge and I got Gumbo. Which one do you want? See, one thing about me, I know how to feed my women. Yeah, I know how to tear their ass up. You know, push that like button. I'm just a comedian. That's all. I'm just a comedian. This is stand-up. This is stand-up comedy. That's all it is. This ain't nothing but comedy. Have you ever? Damn! Look at this. I bought this whole meal at Wally World. No, I didn't. I take that back. I went to Wally World and a Mexican grocery store, and I got all these ingredients and put them together. This is Wally World and Balatas. Yeah, but I can't wait till I get to this gumbo. Look at this gumbo. Have you ever had gumbo with corn, red potatoes, sausage, shrimp, crab? Oh my God. Oh my God. Sausage, shrimp, crabs, corn, red potatoes, baby red. The baby reds is at the bottom. Baby reds, potatoes, celery, okra. Oh my God. Bell peppers, onions. Oh my God. Ooh, and I got a fresh pack of white premium saltine crackers to go with them. Oh my God. Y'all don't know nothing about it. That's God. This is God. This is, what time is it? I got about 22 more minutes before the day is over with, so I can indulge on this wonderful meal. I'm gonna go out here and watch some more Donald Trump controversy, smoke me a blunt. I'm gonna come back in here and make me a big old bowl of this shit right here. It's gonna be smeared. You gotta let it marinate. You gotta let it cool down. It's already hot. You just don't eat gumbo fresh out the pot boiling. You trying to burn your tongue? And this shit right here hot. Push that like button. Show me some love. You for or against Trump? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, god dang it. Hold on. I'm finna answer your question in 2 seconds. Now, right here. All right. Whew, it is cold outside. It's cold outside. And it's finna rain. Okay, this is my business, okay? And this is my business advertising mobile truck. Like, this is my business, my advertising. See, I got the same signs, same color on my business truck that I do on my business. Some people call me a narcissist. They be like, you be trying to color coordinate red, yellow, and white.
Features Stacey Gilbert, who we also interviewed, the former senior advisor in the State Department's Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration. She resigned after over 20 years in service after disagreements with a State Department report that she worked on, concluding Israel was not obstructing U.S. humanitarian assistance to Gaza.
In April, Stacey Gilbert was asked for her input on a Biden administration report on whether Israel was committing war crimes in Gaza.
I was shocked to see that it said in very clear terms, it is our determination that Israel is not blocking humanitarian assistance.
You had advised that that wasn't the case. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do this answer your question?
Subject matter experts were removed, and the
Lizard
report
King
was moved up to a higher level. We were told you will see
Who am
the
I
report
for?
when it is released publicly.
And then the report comes out.
Hey, Lizard.
And
I just want to know.
doesn't include
All
what
right.
you had to say.
Now that you know that
I read that
you
correctly.
talking about it, you talking to a.
I read it again, and I sent an email then that I would resign.
I'm a crip
as a result
for Trump.
of that.
I'm
Do
a
you
crip
remember
for
what you wrote in
Trump,
your
cuz
resignation
I'm a crip for Trump. Crip for Trump. Crip for Trump. Y'all know nothing about that.
I said that report will haunt us.
That's Stacey Gilbert, a State Department official in the Al Jazeera documentary Starving Gaza. You can also go to Democracy Now! To see our extended interview with
You got Bloods for Trump. You got Crips for Trump. I'm a Crip for Trump, cuz. Like, hey, but check this out. We be doing things, and I be talking about things that a lot of people don't just understand. See, I've been understanding Trump for a mighty long time. Trump is a New York gangster. A New York gangster that made it to the top, to the rim of politics. He's a Las Vegas mobster, a New York gangster. Trump is the Trump of the Trump of the Trump. Blow the motherfucking Trump, nigga. I like Trump, man. Shit, anybody that been to the pen before, they love Trump. Shit, we love this shit. This is the way it's supposed to go. We needed a motherfucker like this 20 years ago. Like, what the fuck going on? Y'all don't understand. But hey, I'm going to tell y'all. If it wasn't for Trump, I wouldn't be able to live like I live in America. I wouldn't be able to survive the way I survive in America. If it wasn't for people like Trump, how y'all doing? Push that like button. Some people say, I like to watch MAGA supporters. I don't support nobody that don't support me. So, we're going to get back to the chaos. Oh, my God. There's always a lot of crazy shit going on.
Reach that conclusion based on all of the evidence that's out there. I mean, it's the absolute consensus of the international organizations, human rights organizations that are actually in Gaza and documenting this information. The decision comes in complete contrast to that. And there's no one out there who is saying the situation is not, that Israel is allowing aid, and no one is saying that except for the Israeli government. So when we reach these conclusions, we're either using information provided by the Israelis or we're simply making it up, because no credible organization is saying that they are not blocking humanitarian aid.
I want to go to the funeral of Shireen Abu Akleh. She was killed by an Israeli sniper outside the Jenin refugee camp, one of the most well-known Al Jazeera reporters. She was killed May 11th, 2022. After she was killed, there was a funeral for Shireen. Can you describe, Mike Casey? You were in Jerusalem at the time, is that right? Can you describe what happened at the funeral? She is, by the way, an American journalist, a Palestinian American journalist.
Yes, I was there at the time, and it was, it was one of the worst days in the office when she was killed, and then when the funeral happened, because it was just so emblematic of our policies there and our policy failures that an American is going to be killed. We're going to call for an investigation. We're not going to be serious about it. Whatever they come out with, we're going to accept, even if we know the facts are otherwise. And then it reaches the point where her funeral is attacked. The police are beating pallbearers. Her coffin falls on the ground. And we don't say anything about it, just at this level of brutality that's happening, and we don't say anything. And so people in the office were just devastated emotionally because many of them knew her personally. And then knowing that they're working for the United States government, who has the most leverage and the most ability to make some changes and make some impact, and know that we're not going to say anything about it. And it was really crushing for morale in the office.
I mean, you have senators like Maryland Senator Van Holland who have called for the release of the report on Shireen Abu Akleh. That actually hasn't happened. And if you can compare what took place there and what you felt should have been said by the United States, and how the U.S. deals in other countries.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was listening to the headlines at the beginning of your broadcast, just to hear the update on Gaza and the update on Ukraine, and seeing two incidents, and we're going to have very different responses to them because we simply pick and choose our statements that we're going to make depending on the situation. So it's just that we're going to put red lines out there. We're going to call for investigations. We're going to do things like that in Israel, but we're not serious about it, and we're not concerned with the result that comes out from them.
Well, I want to go to some of the early work that you did shortly after October 7th, 2023. Just 3 weeks into Israel's bombardment of Gaza, nearly 7,000 Palestinians had already been killed. But on October 25th of 2023, President Biden cast doubt on Gaza's official death toll. This is a clip of Biden.
I have no notion that Palestinians are telling the truth about how many people are killed. I'm sure innocents have been killed, and it's the price of waging a war.
So, Mike, if you could explain, what was your response when you heard Biden's remarks?
So we fought within the system to clarify why we believe those numbers were the most accurate numbers we could find. We had an official response that we would talk about how the Ministry of Health in Gaza is the most connected to its parent ministry in Ramallah. Many of the employees there from the PA. Analyses of past conflicts have never shown a significant difference between the reports. So we had an official way of dealing with it. But in general, it was sort of personally affected me because I was writing those numbers every day in our reports at the time. And when the President of the United States comes out and says, I don't believe your numbers, that's a little bit hard to deal with. But in general, it was a common trend even before October 7th that we don't believe Palestinian sources of information. We don't believe what they say, whether it's Palestinian government, whether it's Palestinian contacts that we talk to, it's just disregarded. And even the United Nations and others we disregard sometimes. We will accept the Israeli narrative over all others, even if we know it's not correct.
So can you explain, Mike, we just heard earlier from Stacey Gilbert, how many of your colleagues do you believe, whether they resigned or not, how many of your colleagues in the State Department agree with you and others in criticizing U.S. policy on Israel-Palestine? And in particular now, in the wake of the war, the assault on Gaza.
It's a very strong sentiment within the department. I've had many people reach out to me, saying they support what I did. They're glad I'm speaking out, essentially giving them a voice to their concerns that they have. And a lot of people who have told me they would be right behind me if it weren't for, their own personal circumstances that they can't resign, which I fully respect and that. So it's definitely a common sentiment, especially at the lower levels within the department. It was always surprising. Everyone that I talked to, everyone I interacted with, it seemed like everyone felt the same. Yet somehow, like Stacey mentioned, when the information goes up to a higher level, the decision that comes back down is completely opposite of what everyone's put forward.
So you're talking about Tony Blinken. You're talking about the Secretary of State when you say when it goes up to a higher level or the people around him. How much contact did you have, or was there any discussion that you had or others had with him? For example, Gilbert saying they changed the results of their report when saying everyone knew Israel was stopping humanitarian aid from getting in, and yet that was changed.
That's never been fully clear. Where does that decision happen in the department? Once it goes above maybe the assistant secretary level, where are those changes made? Who makes those final decisions? That I don't know. I don't have full clarity on that. I did have interactions with Secretary Blinken when he would come to visit. I arranged some of his meetings. I sat in some of his meetings as a note taker when he met with President Abbas and others. And out of all the decision makers at the top of it, the Secretary of State was one of the most disappointing ones because he seemed to be an individual who was very smart, understood the conflict, had a level of empathy. When we got our local staff out of Gaza, he called each of them to check in on them. So he seemed to have a level of empathy and understanding of the situation, yet he's backing these decisions at the higher level. So out of all the people at the top that are involved in this, he was one of the most disappointing to me personally.
And Mike, could you talk about what within the State Department, what the response has been to these protests? After you resigned, you and 3 others got an award for constructive dissent from the American Foreign Service Association for a cable you wrote about Gaza. Could you explain what was in that cable? What is a dissent cable?
So a dissent cable is a special channel where you can write a report saying, I disagree with whatever policy we're working on. You can't put that sort of information in standard reporting, but you can put it in the dissent channel, which stays very protected. It goes up to the higher levels of the State Department. They do read it and they do respond to it and address those issues. When we won the award, we actually had to look back at our dissent cables because we wrote more than one to figure out which one they were talking about in particular. A lot of the details I don't want to get into for sort of reasons of classification. The overall question was that we need to do more to evacuate people from Gaza. We evacuated American citizens out of Gaza, but then we just stopped, and we were not evacuating people who we had worked with over the years, people that had been contacts of ours, people we'd sent on exchange programs, people we had invested in, people who were the future of Gaza, that really need to be helped and protected, not just for humanitarian reasons, but really for what's going to happen in Gaza in the future. And so we basically wrote a dissent cable about that, which obviously didn't change the policies there, particularly after Rafah was shut down.
So, Mike Casey, can you talk about the last straw for you? You were in Jerusalem, one of the top State Department officials there, when the National Security Council said they should just back what Israelis want for post-conflict Gaza. Explain what you understand that is and why you left.
So that was one area, as things were moving forward in Gaza, that I stayed a little bit longer, thinking this is one area where maybe we can make a positive impact, is really laying out what needs to happen in the future in Gaza. And we laid out, a plan that involved the humanitarian aspects of it, security aspects of it, governance aspects of it, what needs to happen in terms of connecting Gaza with the rest of Palestine, inserting a credible Palestinian government at the governor, ministerial, and local level, in integrating it, creating a second state, 2-state solution, everything like that would fit within our goals and what's best for Gaza. And the response was, well, the Israelis have a different plan, and we're just going to go with that. And the current plan is the idea of, the current plan is, I understand it, was having local families, they use the term clans, to run things in Gaza, and we wrote reports about why that's not feasible, it's not going to work, and that the reason the Israelis support that plan is because it will lead to chaos and conflict in Gaza, which is their goal in what is happening there. It's not our goal. It shouldn't be. And it's not a feasible plan. And I've talked to contacts of mine in Cairo who said even just a couple weeks ago, people from Washington were still reaching out to them and asking about this plan. So it seems we're still pursuing it, even though we know it's not feasible and it's not right.
And Mike, finally, as we end, if you could talk about what your concerns are about the incoming Trump administration with respect to U.S. policy on Palestine. He said earlier this month that if the Israeli hostages are not returned by Inauguration Day, that is January 20th, quote, all hell is going to break out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not optimistic about an incoming administration. I fear they're going to basically pick up where they left off in terms of where the Israeli government was planning to formally announce or annex settlements in the West Bank and other destructive policies, which are not only terrible for Palestinians, but also very difficult to reverse in a future administration. And so I fear they're going to pick up where they left off. I feel Israel is going to be given even more of a blank check than they have under the Biden administration, and that there will be steps taken, like annexation of certain areas, that the Trump administration doesn't understand the impact of those because they don't analyze them very carefully and simply just accept whatever Israel wants them to do, even more so than the Biden administration. But if I were to give them advice, I would tell them to really focus on having a policy on Palestine, not just viewing it through the lens of Israel and what Israel wants, but what's good for Palestinians, what's best for our own interests there. If we want a 2-state solution, we need to create a second state. We can't just put Palestine in quotes and reports and pretend like it doesn't exist. We need to create a political, economic, social, cultural entity that is Palestine, recognize the country, stop denying its existence at the United Nations and others, and really push forward policies such as a national election and different things like that that are important for the Palestinian people, regardless of what the impact is on Israel.
Michael Casey, we want to thank you for being with us. Mike resigned from the State Department in July after a 15-year career in the Foreign Service. He was deputy political counselor at the United States Office for Palestinian Affairs in Jerusalem for 4 years before resigning in July over U.S. policy on Gaza. Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you. Please give today at democracynow.org/give.
The strangest night of your life is about to begin. The energy around you is rapidly changing, and that's no coincidence.
My gosh, there is something really weird going on in Los Angeles. This all started a couple of days ago when this account made this post that has 73 million views, 400,000 likes. Of this location. Here is the location. I already have it open here on Google Earth. We're going to be taking a look at this location in just a few seconds. But this is basically a photo that someone took of Google Maps. And in it you can see a bunch of help signs and these cryptic messages. Of course, I'm not going to say it out loud, but this is bad. This is really bad. It seems like someone is
They will never be forgiven. By they, I mean the Western governments who have armed and facilitated Israel's genocide for 465 days as I speak, knowing full well the horrors being inflicted every single day. By they, I mean the Western media outlets who have legitimized Israel's war crimes, who have failed to frame their coverage around the explicitly and repeatedly stated genocidal...
Hi, my name's Nana.
Yo, I am Dr. Cool Autofix. I have been forefront at putting the information about the self-powered invention from African genius that makes Western scientists and automotive industry look like manufacturers or gigantic toys. Imagine a world where the hum of engines doesn't mean pollution. Picture a future where running out of...
Driving a Nissan Sentra with sport-tuned suspension is kind of like driving a legend. See why it was recommended by Consumer Reports. Drive the Nissan Sentra today.
Fuel is a distant memory. What if I told you that this self-powered EV is ready for sale after discreet launching on the 10th of February 2025? This isn't a scene from a science fiction film. Africa has proven the Western technology are far from taking the lead into the future. You will soon be seeing your Tesla models, BI, Mercedes EQs, Volkswagen ID as toys for kids. It's the promise offered by self-powered electric vehicles, and at the forefront of this revolution stands Maxwell Chikumbutso. Buckle up, because we're about to dive into a world where innovation meets sustainability. Get ready to say goodbye to petrol stations and hello to the future of transportation. It's time to explore the mind-blowing technology behind Chikumbutso's groundbreaking inventions. Get your wallet ready as this self-powered car and motorcycle is ready for sale. Who will say it better than the inventor himself?
In the world, like us or hate us, that's a fact. We have seen it, we have tested it. It was tested outside the country. It works. So what we have is called a microsonic energy device. But before I got to the microsonic energy device, like where we are right now, around 2013, that's 2003, that's when God gave me the vision. I started to work on it. And that time I was working on 3 projects. I began to be very much interested in radio frequencies. And I'm so good in radio frequencies. That's something that I know back to back. You cannot confuse me when you talk about radio frequencies. I've sat down with the best professors, best engineers in the world, the likes of Nassim Haramein, if you know him. I've sat down with him in the Radio Center of America. I've sat with the likes of Michael, the great writers of science. They don't believe that I'm not educated. I'm good when you talk about radio frequencies. I'm so good in them.
This isn't just about cars. It's about transforming how we power our lives. This is about a future where energy independence is a reality for everyone. Maxwell Chikumbutso, a name synonymous with innovation, has always dared to dream big. Hailing from Zimbabwe, this self-taught engineer possesses an unwavering belief in the power of technology to solve the world's greatest challenges.
Push that like button.
His journey
Come
wasn't
on in.
paved with
Show me
roses.
some love.
Chikumbutso faced
Chikumbutso.
skepticism and doubt at every turn. His
I like
early
him.
inventions, while groundbreaking, were met with resistance from those entrenched in the status quo. But Chikumbutso persevered, fueled by his passion and the potential of his creations.
My journey was never easy, but I knew that the world needed these innovations. I believed in the power of technology to change lives.
His persistence paid off. The world started to take notice of his revolutionary ideas. Today, Chikumbutso stands as a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of human ingenuity.
And when are we expecting this to actually be commercialized and hit the market?
We have started commercial. We are in the commercial stage. Starting from tomorrow, we've got small machines. Most of them, they've been bought with these guys who came. We've got guys from DRC. You bought some machines as well. We didn't have much, but right now we are now in operation. And we have a once a machine can now get it. We've got our distributor here in Zimbabwe who is going to be handling all the sales in Zimbabwe. So from now going onwards, you can now get the machines.
How many are readily available in the market? And if you can help us with the pricing?
Okay, I cannot give you the actual number, but I will just tell you something. The guys in South Africa, they give us an order for 3,000 machines. They give for South Africa, and they give us 20,000 machines for Zambia. That's a Chase Rosa, the one that you saw. I've been working with him for so many years. He bought my first 50 kilowatts machine. He's a lawyer. He's a commercial lawyer in South Africa. So, and Nadim, I think if you have seen when we went to a company that wanted to partner which make buses, Nadim, he is the person who took us there. So these are the people that I've been working with. We have got my technologies, and right now, as of today, we have got 20,000 in Zambia, and we have got 3,000 in South Africa. We are not talking of other countries like Switzerland. I'm not so sure. I'm meeting tomorrow the guys from Switzerland. But what I know right now, they bought a car, one of our cars and one of our motorbikes, which they are taking with them. So I think that is enough proof for people to see. And they did not buy it at the actual cost. They bought it at a higher cost. They said it's something that we treasure. We need to put it in a museum.
Backup and support. How much backup and support do you have so that we can install it?
Okay. I think we will share a lot of like the plans for this year, but right now we are ready to work. We are not operating like what we did in 2015. We have got backup, we've got a team of technicians, we've got a team of engineers, and yeah, just expect a lot to be done this year.
Attention super markup shoppers, just a heads up. These loyalty cards with exclusive deals, it's a sham. At Aldi, you don't need one. You just walk in and save. That's why they're #1 in everyday low prices.
It's an Aldi thing.
This is the Toyota Prius. Really stylish, great fuel efficiency. It's the best Prius you can ever put on the road.
And now you can get a low monthly lease on a new Prius. We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
The Saith EV1 isn't just another electric car, it's a paradigm shift in automotive technology. What sets it apart? The answer is simple. It powers itself. Chikumbutso has developed a revolutionary system that harnesses energy from the environment. This clean, limitless energy source powers the Saith EV1, eliminating the need for traditional charging stations.
Driving the Saith EV1 is an experience like no other. Knowing that it doesn't need to be plugged in, it's just incredible.
The technical details are complex, but the result is breathtakingly simple. A car that can run indefinitely without needing to be plugged in. Imagine the possibilities. No more range anxiety, No more dependence on fossil fuels. No more harmful emissions. The Saith EV1 is a giant leap towards a cleaner, more sustainable future. Powering a greener future global partnerships. The potential of Chikumbutso's inventions hasn't gone unnoticed. Leading companies in the green technology sector are lining up to collaborate. Saith Group, a pioneer in sustainable energy solutions, has joined forces with Chikumbutso to bring his vision to life. Zero Motorcycles, renowned for their electric motorcycles, recognizes the game-changing potential of Chikumbutso's self-powering technology. The two companies are partnering to develop the next generation of electric bikes.
Infinity Energy Solutions, a global leader in renewable energy, is another key partner. Together, they are exploring the use of Chikumbutso's technology to power homes and businesses.
A glimpse into the future Saith Technologies products. The Saith EV1 is just the tip of the iceberg. Chikumbutso and his team are developing a range of products designed to revolutionize our relationship with energy.
The ZX9 Superbike, for instance, promises the thrill of a high-performance motorcycle without the environmental impact. Then there's the Infinity Generator, a revolutionary device that can power an entire home using renewable energy.
Imagine a future where you generate your own clean, affordable electricity. That's the promise of the Infinity Generator. While specific pricing and availability details are still under wraps, one thing is certain. Saith Technologies is committed to making its products accessible to everyone. Embracing the self-powered revolution. We stand at the cusp of a new era, an era where energy independence is within reach. Maxwell Chikumbutso's inventions have the potential to reshape our world, offering a cleaner, more sustainable future for generations to come.
The journey won't be easy. There will be challenges and setbacks, but the potential rewards are too great to ignore. It's time to embrace the self-powered revolution, to support the pioneers like Chikumbutso, who dare to dream of a brighter future.
The future is here, and it's powered by innovation, determination, and the unwavering belief in a world without limits.
What do y'all think about that car? Do you think that's a good car? Do you think that was a good car? I think that was a good car. Push that like button. What's up, man? What's up, Lizard? Bet, homie. He's a gangster, a mobster. It look cozy in there. Sapphire. How you doing, baby girl? Man, you know what? I don't know why. I don't know what. I gotta. You fire. I don't need to be talking to you. But you know what, Sapphire? I can't do that. I can't do that, and I don't want to talk about you. But you might not look like you used to look back when you was younger, back in the days. Like, once women have children, they change. Their body change. They whole, structure change. It ain't that they want to change, it just naturally change. It ain't the same. But it's cool though. Life is the same when you live the same. There you go, y'all. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear it? It started raining. Damn. Go ahead and cut my lights off. Make me some gumbo. Grab me some crackers. Come in here and watch me some more TV. Whew! Let me get in front of my heater real quick. My little buddy here didn't get warm. Ooh. Ooh. This thing right here be kicking so good. Have you ever went to your grandmama house and the heater was up so damn high, you like, oh, grandma, you need to turn that shit down. But then on a good cold winter night, you go in grandma's house and that motherfucking shit feels so goddamn good. You be like, oh, grandma, thanks for having the heat on. This is what this motherfucker feel like right now. Thank you for having the heat on. It's like 20 degrees outside and this done started raining, wind blowing. Yeah. Ooh. said I had a C-section. Y'all girls do not want to fuck y'all body, yo. Y'all just get this motherfucker cut up out y'all. Like, cut this motherfucker out. Shit. Oh, shit. Shit. Take my breath away. Ooh. Said maybe better. That's a good thing. That's a real good thing. Damn this shit. Whew. Shit. Oh my God. Ooh, sapphire. Where the wind is blowing hard. Whew, shit. Let's see what they talking about here. I see how YouTube be throwing all these damn copyright infringements in my damn videos. They'll throw these commercials in my videos, or they'll throw these ads, and it be somebody music and shit, and by the time you skip it out, they've been unplayed so much of it in your video that it automatically steal your video for copyrights. I be wondering why all my damn videos be having copyright. Like, you motherfuckers stealing my shit and I ain't listening to no music. I'm not even gonna say all that. Hold on. Sapphire. You ain't gotta say nothing, Sapphire. It's cool. It's cool. But I wouldn't mind being your friend, though. You're like a nice person. You're like a nice person to get to know, be your friend. I don't really, I don't fuck with nobody like that. I just really, the hardest thing for me, man, is like, why you can't. A lot of people don't want to, be friends. Get to know each other first. Motherfuckers want to jump straight into a goddamn relationship. If you ain't talking about being in a relationship, what the fuck? Some people don't jump that fast. I don't move like that. I want to know what the fuck I'm fucking with. You might be crazy as hell. I'm crazy. So shit. You might really want to get to know me first. You might realize that this nigga crazy. Oh, hell no. But he got some good dick. That's all that matters. As long as the dick good, the pussy good, shit. Y'all could be two crazy motherfuckers in love with each other. That's the way life is.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you everyone for braving the inclement weather as we gather to take an essential step forward in the long and ongoing fight for justice, accountability, and healing for Black America. Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans. It is an honor to inherit the privilege of carrying this forward. From Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
All right, now.
In my last correspondence with her,
moving forward with reparations.
Keep working on our priorities and never give up.
Don't she look just like me with no hair?
She was the previous House sponsor of H.R. 40 and a true giant.
Look, if I hold my head back and you can see my forehead,
we are grateful for her
she looks
leadership.
just like me.
We are grateful
That's
for
my
her
sister
example
right
and her
there.
voice. May she rest in peace and power. And we are grateful to be joined here today by her daughter, former Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter, who today, when I thanked her for braving the
House
elements
Democrats hold a press briefing
to journey here,
about
said true justice is never
reparation
convenient.
legislation.
I want to acknowledge some of our partners in good trouble in this fight. Senator Cory Booker, our co-lead in the Senate, Chairwoman Yvette Clarke of the Congressional Black Caucus.
All right, we're going to pause this for a second. This would be a good time to introduce reparations to the government while Donald Trump is dismantling all the wasted spending of our government. Now, all this $1 trillion that they done already found in wasted spending, they can give that to reparations, to Black people in reparations. You know what I mean? Yeah. Put the glasses on. That's too much. You want me to put my glasses back on? I look better. With my glasses back on, I look like... All right, check this out. You said, she look just like me with my forehead like this? Look just like my sister, huh? If I hold my head back, you see my forehead? Reparations. Motherfucker say I'm crazy as hell. How y'all doing? Push that like button. I feel like I'm finna have some fun this year. I don't know. I just had a vision. Somebody riding through the alley in a goddamn pocket rocket. One of them. Alright. This damn gumbo smelling so damn good. I need to quit playing with myself, with life, with everybody else that's playing. I need to quit playing. It's time to get to the nitty gritty. I spend too much money on this shit. Damn, one of these homeless people just riding around with a goddamn with a pocket rocket. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There you go, right there. Look at that. A couple of potatoes in there. Corns in there. Gotta get some sausage and shrimp in there. Alrighty, we got some gumbo. We got some corn. We got some crackers. I'm gonna try to tear this shit up. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. It's hot, hot, hot. Ooh, ooh. And the wind is blowing. Hot. Let's get back to this, man.
So when you're hitting over something like the bluffs, it just felt like nature was giving you this big hug.
Where did this
An
come
amazing
from?
course like this encapsulates what golf is about. This beautiful,
I'm okay,
messy,
girl. Can't sleep.
amazing game.
Sapphire. What you say? Hey, Michelle, you want to see gumbo? Y'all want some gumbo? I can bring you some gumbo. Gumbo gonna be delicious.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you everyone for braving the inclement weather as we gather to take an essential step forward in the long and ongoing fight for justice, accountability, and healing for Black America.
Come on!
Today I'm deeply honored to
Reparations!
reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans. It is an honor to inherit the privilege of carrying this bill forward.
Keep saying it loud.
From Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. In my last correspondence with her, she said, keep working on our priorities and never give up.
Black people first.
She was the previous House sponsor of H.R. 40 and a true giant in the movement for reparative justice. We are grateful for her leadership. We are grateful for her example and her voice. May she rest in peace and power. And we are grateful to be joined here today by her daughter, former Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter, who today, when I thanked her for braving the elements to journey here, said true justice is never convenient. I want to acknowledge some of our partners in good trouble in this fight. Senator Cory Booker, our co-lead in the Senate, Chairwoman Yvette Clarke of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congresswoman Bonnie
If they don't
Watson-Coleman,
push this reparations through for black people,
Congresswoman Latifah Simon, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and the more than 70 members of Congress who have signed on to co-sponsor the legislation that was first introduced. And I want to make this point because it is Black History Month. And while there are those that are working actively, either to erase our history or to whitewash it,
come on,
that I'm here in this moment to pick up the mantle of this historic legislation that has been championed by John Conyers, Congressman John Conyers, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
Maxine Waters.
That was introduced more than 30 years ago when Congressman John Conyers was a co-founder of the Congressional Black Caucus. We're at a critical inflection point in America, and the moment cannot be more urgent. With Black history under attack and white supremacy emboldened, there is no better time to introduce this bill than during Black History Month. A time when we reflect on our history, our struggle, and our collective power. And I'll say, it is also not only about Black history, but it is about Black futures. More than 4 centuries ago, Africans were kidnapped, trafficked, and enslaved, forced to build this country under horrific brutality. an economy which we still benefit from today. Rice, sugar, tobacco, cotton. And even after the Civil War, emancipation, the 13th Amendment, the legacy of slavery endured in other forms, codified in law to deny Black Americans freedom, opportunity, and dignity. And that's what brings us here today. This brutality, these injustices, these horrors were not things just happened within the culture by osmosis. They were legislated. Today, with Donald Trump and Republicans waging their coordinated and at times unlawful assault on Black folks and Black history, we will not allow that history to be erased. We will not allow it to be whitewashed. H.R. 40 is a powerful reminder of the work that remains and offers us a pathway toward truth, reconciliation, and accountability. To be clear, this bill is not a symbolic gesture, but rather a meaningful step toward repairing the deep structural injustices that continue to harm Black communities today. The racial wealth gap in America is not an accident. In Boston, my home city, the Federal Reserve counts Black wealth at just $8, compared to the wealth of white households at $247,500. Nationwide, the racial wealth gap is over 10 trillion. That's trillion with a T. This shameful reality is the direct result of generations of precise, intentional policy harm codified into our laws and budgets. And it is specifically the result of slavery and the anti-Black society that followed. From Jim Crow to redlining to mass incarceration, our government, through policies and budgets, has perpetuated and entrenched these harms for generations. The disparities that we see in health outcomes, housing, education, wealth, and more are by design. Today, our government has a moral and legal obligation to right those wrongs, and reparations are a necessary step towards achieving justice. Now, here's what the bill would do. H.R. 40 creates a federal commission, an expert body charged with investigating the enduring impacts of slavery and its aftermath, and developing concrete proposals for reparations. This is a pragmatic policy that is fundamentally about repairing harm and building a more just America. Whether you are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Trenton, New Jersey, or Mattapan in the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District, this is about ensuring that every person has a fair chance at the American dream. Now, I know some like to think that Rosa sat, Martin marched, and John crossed a bridge, and we were free. But we are still very much in the civil rights movement. Every day, the progress that we have fought for, the gains that have been made, are under assault and being rolled back. Donald Trump and his co-president Elon Musk and their enablers in Congress and the courts are working overtime to strip away our rights, from gutting affirmative action, dismantling voting rights, to attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that benefit Black folks and everyone who calls this country home. I think it's really important in these times that we call a thing a thing. We're in a moment of anti-Blackness on steroids, and we refuse to be silent. We will not back down in our pursuit of racial justice. And while we do the work of resistance and blunting the many harms of this hostile, anti-Black administration, it's imperative that we continue advancing an affirmative agenda for Black America and building momentum toward this critical priority. So today we have a choice. We can continue to uphold an unjust status quo, or we can work actively to disrupt it. We can allow our history to be erased, or we can actively engage in truth-telling. We can and we must confront our past and take meaningful steps to repair the harm that has been done. H.R. 40 is an opportunity to do exactly that. And now, I'd like to introduce Congresswoman Erica Lee Carter.
Where's Maxine Waters at?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am
Maxine
former Congresswoman
Waters.
Erica Lee Carter of the 18th Congressional District of Texas, and I am the surviving daughter of the phenomenal Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. May we forever say her name. It has been said that the time for justice is always right now. It is my honor to stand here with a warrior for justice, dedicated leader, and prominent legislator as we pass the torch to the Honorable Ayanna Pressley as she takes up the righteous fight for H.R. 40. This fight against injustice is personal to her and me, H.R. 40 is long overdue and even more necessary under this administration as hate is fomented, discrimination is promoted, and code words are used to bring out the worst in our fellow Americans. H.R. 40, first filed by the Honorable John Conyers, who understood that from our nation's very founding, the enslaved of African descent were shut out and disparity was written into our Constitution. Since 1995, my mother, the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee, worked closely with Congressman Conyers through her service on the Judiciary Committee and the Congressional Black Caucus. Over those years, they traversed this country to connect with advocates, activists, scholars, congressional colleagues, staff, neighbors, and friends to spread the word that H.R. 40, and dismantle rumors that it was just a check or a useless exercise. They and we know that we are nothing without a record and official documentation. You cannot right wrongs without an accurate record of those wrongs. This is what America needs. This commission is like filing a claim. H.R. 40 asks America to look under her hood and identify what has been wrong for hundreds of years and determine if there are ways to repair. H.R. 40 was a passion project for my mother, and in the 117th Congress in her judiciary hearing, she shared these words. For hidden in the corners of this nation are those of African American heritage, the descendants of enslaved Africans who have felt the sting of disparities. They continue to feel that sting. Now more than ever, the facts and circumstances facing our nation demonstrate the importance of H.R. 40 and the necessity of placing our nation on the path of reparative justice. That is what H.R. 40 is about. This commission will probe into the facts of the long-standing impact of disparities that slavery brought about in this country. We still experience them today. I wholeheartedly support H.R. 40 and was proud to ask Congresswoman Presley to carry this bill forward. I know that my mother would be proud that generation now and next is ready to lead in the fight in the person of Congresswoman Ayanna Presley. She has never been afraid to speak truth to power in the face of oppressive and, dare I say, arcane efforts by this presidential administration to take us back to a time that we all hoped had long since passed. As I close, I'm reminded that H.R. 40 does not live in the past. It is about the future of my children and all children. It is Frederick Douglass saying, "What is July 4th to the slave?" And the Honorable Barbara Jordan asking America to live up to her promise. It is Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar saying, "Freedom, where are you?" And I'm proud to stand and work with you alongside expansive H.R. 40 national reparations movement to continue this fight. And I close and encourage you with these words sung by Cynthia Erivo in honor of the abolitionist and freedom fighter Harriet Tubman. Congresswoman Presley, may you stand up. Take your people with you. Together we are going to a brand new home. You hear freedom calling. It's calling you to answer. May you keep on keeping on. Thank you. Now we will hear for Congresswoman Watson Coleman.
Attention super markup shoppers, it's about time we paid everyday low prices, like at Aldi, not increasingly high prices for potatoes. Aldi doesn't play pricing games. That's why they're #1 in everyday low prices.
It's an Aldi thing. 7 million U.S. businesses rely on TikTok to compete.
Within a week of posting, I had over $25,000 in sales.
Small businesses thrive on TikTok.
TikTok brings in so much foot traffic.
I need TikTok to keep growing.
No, you don't. Go to Instagram.
Nose and nasal sanitizer is a fast-acting antiseptic that kills 99.99% of germs to help reduce your risk of infection while on the go. Add a shield of protection to your itinerary with nose and nasal sanitizer.
At Jiffy Lube, we car about cars. In fact, we're kind of obsessed.
Are you saying car?
And with things like our Carful vehicle review,
Thank you. It's wonderful remarks, and thank you, Congresswoman Presley, for inviting me here today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always taken a moment, and now it's taking a movement, and a movement can move us forward. So first of all, let me say to you, happy Black History Month. You know, from school boards to the White House, Trump and his lackeys are on a mission to erase the contributions of Black Americans, including the unpaid Black labor upon which our country was built. We won't allow this history to be erased, because when Black history is erased, when the value of the contributions of Black Americans is dismissed, it's that much easier to dismiss the value of Black lives. Black excellence scares Donald Trump, it scares Stephen Miller, and it scares Elon Musk. Because you know what? Deep down, they recognize their own mediocrity. And so they're doing everything they can to entrench the racial wealth gap. They refuse to recognize that when Black America succeeds, we all succeed. When those on the bottom of the rungs of the economic ladder can climb, then the entire nation rises with them. So I'm grateful to my little sister, Ayanna, for picking up this legislation from the late, great Sheila Jackson Lee. This is Representative Lee's legacy, and we represent her legacy. She carries on, and Ayanna carries on that legacy at a time when bravery and commitment to justice are needed now more than ever. And so I am so honored to stand here in support of this legislation and this opportunity. And now I'd like to turn it over to Representative Summer Lee for her remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I thank you, of course, to Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley for carrying on this legacy, and of course to the late Sheila Jackson Lee, who carried this with pride for so long, for her efforts, to the advocates of this movement here and outside. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black Futures Month, in an era, of course, where Black history is attempted to be erased, to obstructed, or whitewashed. The America we know today was built on the brutal enslavement and trafficking of stolen Africans forced to build this country on their literal backs. Despite, however, what Trump and his anti-diversity, anti-equity, anti-inclusion cronies want you to believe, this is American history. Its impact is the American status quo. It's unjust and it is wrong. No matter what anybody says, the history of America is the history of America. And acknowledging that history is not a threat to the present would argue that ignoring that history, however, is a threat to our future. No matter how many attempts they make to whitewash this history, the blood of our enslaved Africans ancestors can't be erased from this land. We must acknowledge that. We must acknowledge that the systemic racism that has denied Black folks the ability to thrive and to survive in this nation to this very day. We see it and we feel it every day because the barriers put up in place by our own government, because of redlining, because of predatory lending, because of inequitable funding schemes for our schools are very real. Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the Black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror Black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms. HR 40 is one tool that brings us closer to righting those wrongs. And if we're truly going to address the racial and economic injustices rooted in this country, we must start here. I urge my colleagues, not just here, but throughout this body, to pass, to support HR 40, to support and pass reparations. Thank you all so much. And next we'll have Representative Jonathan Jackson. Thank you.
Good afternoon and happy African American History Month. I'm proud to be the representative from the 1st Congressional District of Illinois. Illinois has the honor of starting African American History Month with Dr. Carter G. Woodson, African American young man that was born in West Virginia, went to the first integrated college in America, Berea College in Kentucky. From there, he went on to the University of Chicago, where he created his thesis that he had to show the truth of American history. When African Americans are distorted, deleted, this becomes propaganda and not history. He's the second African American to earn his PhD from Harvard University, so I'm very proud. Also proud to be from Illinois, which houses Evanston, Illinois, where they started the tangible effects of this reparations work, and they have gained tremendous steam. Now this conversation is taking place in New York State, Illinois, and California. As we speak right now, there are commissions in Palm Springs and Fulton County, Georgia, as well as in Amherst, Massachusetts. This is a nationwide program and is gaining steam. This is happening nationwide. And why do I support H.R. 40? It's healing. When the truth comes out about the nation, it heals. When there's reparation, when there's been repair for the atrocities of slaveries and all of the ills that happened, this is the solution. And so I'm not here to fix the blame. We didn't create the history. I'm here to fix the problem. This solves a problem that persists in zoning and taxation and economic development. I'm also a proud co-chair of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Caucus. We are not going backwards following that of Mr. Donald J. Trump and his administration. We believe diversity is good for all. We believe that equity, equality is good for all. We believe that having an opportunity to be inclusive is important for all. So I stand on those values. H.R. 40 stands on those values. I thank the tremendous legacy of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I thank the inspiration of Congressman John Conyers. And although it's now touching ground, starting in Evanston, 100